Alright guys, that's coming here and say, hope you're doing good and enjoying your day so far. The Process documentary officially comes out this evening, a sneak peek from Zinni on stream last night as to what we can expect in the upcoming hours, and also his $10,000 tournament comes to a conclusion in rather dramatic fashion. LA Thieves get effectively the first win as a new team. Does it mean all that much in the grand scheme of things in the new season? How come they got 1v4'd by Insight on their way to the trophy? Very much enjoy to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. Lots to get into today. Thought this is pretty funny to start things off. We know that there is some history between Octane and Surge as organizations, and Octane was like, you know what, I'm gonna hold my tongue on this occasion. We also got last night a confirmation of a new roster, so there are still quite a few teams yet to confirm their rosters. It will happen in the coming days. Lots of these teams tend to do so around about the release of the new game. I'm, not impressed. It's Ravens, but they've announced their team earlier than I thought. I thought they would wait until the very last minute. At least they've actually signed the players rather than leave it as long as they possibly can so they don't have to pay them the salaries. It is interesting that Ravens are still here. I think first of all, we thought that they were going to go, Space Station were going to come in, but as we know, the CDL has pretty strict deadlines in terms of if you want to take over an organization, how you can rebrand. Last year we had the Los Angeles Grillers Gentlemates. That's still technically what they're called, although we expect in the coming weeks Gentlemates, when they do their annual general meeting, to announce a change there. We'll see if that happens in due course. But Space Station, as a result of all that, were like, you know what, we're not interested for now. That's at least our understanding of it. So Ravens are still here for another year. Brian Sanger's the coach. Slasher is back. Is this the last dance for Slasher? I still rate Slasher. I still think he can be a solid player. But I don't know about this team, right? I don't really know about this team. It's, look, to be fair, we've said for Slasher, maybe is it the last dance for the last couple of years? He enters his 13th year competing, which is incredibly impressive, right? Only Scump and Clayster ever reached that mark. So Slasher's here again. This is the rest of the team. So Craze is here. Craze with no Mamba is interesting because we thought that was going to be a duo really after what we saw last year with Omid. But no, Mamba's ended up, we think, on G2 Minnesota, no longer Rokkr. Apparently, at least I'm going to struggle not to call them Rokkr for some time, I think. But Craze is on this team. Very impressive SMG talent we saw towards the end of last year. I like that pickup. I believe that Nero is actually going to be the flex on this team, which is interesting. I do think that Nero and Crazy, if they were the SMG partners, that would be probably too crazy. So I get that whole Nero to the flex idea. It is interesting, though, that Nero was picked instead of Geo. We thought that Geo was going to be here as the flex, presumably, but they went for Nero instead. Now, Nero, doesn't run the flex. He's a sub player, right? But maybe it's the whole Vivid idea of putting someone who typically ran a sub on an AR. It might slow them down a little bit, mean that they're a little bit less volatile to just fly around the corner for no reason. So maybe that's the logic here. Again, Slasher's 31 now. He's going to have to deal with a lot of players who are a lot younger than him and also maybe aren't the most disciplined, right? So I think that is going to be a challenge. If Slasher and Brian Satan, the team, can cope with that, maybe there is some upside in this roster, but it's difficult to put them too much above, rock bottom of the league. Now, Lurks is also a talent worth keeping an eye on. Very impressive player we've seen in challenges before. People are like, look, there's clearly a lot of talent on this team. I think I'll put it that way. I'm just not convinced about the team composition. There have also been questions on, let's say, how the chemistry of this team is going to work. But there it is. That's the Ravens official roster going into next season. Nero says, I wouldn't get on a team this year. Who decided that? So I guess he's responding to haters that told him he wouldn't get a team. Okay, getting a team is one thing. Let's see if the team is any good. That's step 2. The other drama of last night was this. Now, not Call of Duty related, but is still relevant. So 100 Thieves confirms they've got a CS team. They're coming back to CS. I don't know what the roster's going to be. I think maybe Rain and a number of others. But what's very notable here is that this team is officially the 100 Thieves Rubet Counter-Strike team. So we know that Nadeshot individually signs the contract with Rubet. He was out in Mexico a couple of months ago. Now Scump and Hector joined in over the last few days. There's been lots of talk about that in the community from both sides. But at the end of the day, yes, Nadeshot is somewhat synonymous with Thieves. Scump and Hex are very much so synonymous with OpTic, but they're not the same thing, right? That was not an OpTic deal when Scump and Hex signed the contract. Maybe in due course it could be. Who knows? The point is that it now is for 100 Thieves. Their Counter-Strike team is officially 100 Thieves Rubeck Counter-Strike. Now, and again, it's going to be controversial. I'm not going to get into the details and the weeds of that again. But the point is, this is an interesting step for 100 Thieves as an organization to officially partner in this way. Now, what I will say is, this is not an uncommon phenomenon in the world of Counter-Strike. If you look at the HLTV World Rankings, I mean, we can look at their jerseys. Vitality sponsored by Stake, Furia have got PokerStars, Falcons probably understandably haven't got anyone. We've got 1xBet, we've got, I don't know what that is, probably says bet at the ends. We've got BetBoom, you know, 1xBet again. If we look at FaZe, for example, they've got, like, what even is this? Okay, Rollbits, whatever that is. And if you scroll further down, you'll find that there's literally a team called BetBoom, who I think are, you know, we even saw BetBoom further up sponsoring another team, but you know, I think they're like a Russian gambling site, basically. So in the world of CS, this is not unusual, and it's not even really controversial, because it's been a thing for a very long time. What is, you know, again, there's a bit of a grey area because Stake, while controversial, is probably regulated in a slightly different way to Rubet. So again, I don't want to go into all the detail here, but the point is that if it's happening to 100 Thieves Counter-Strike, is there a world where it could happen with OpTic officially as well at some point? Probably doesn't meet the standards for the CDL in terms of the sponsors and the partners that they would approve, but maybe in some other format it could be possible. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on that. Now, Hastro gave a pretty cryptic remark, I thought, just given the timing of all of this. We know that all the drama over the last few days, I don't know if there's anything in this, but I thought I would at least point the tweet out and you guys can make your own judgments. But we know that Envy is officially back. The partnership with OpTic kind of ended over the last several months, years, really. I mean, initially OpTic and Envy effectively merged, then Envy were no longer really existing anymore, but then Hastro was able to kind of get out of that arrangement and find himself with Envy back under his own name. He's partnered with Native to make that work. Maybe they're going to come back to COD at some point. That's kind of what he says. Miss you all. COD community deserves more than they get. Don't let anyone purposely lead you off a cliff, which I thought was an interesting remark. So let's move on from that. OpTic have an opening league match in, well, 4 weeks or so's time, pretty much, when the CDL officially begins on the 5th of December. They will play the Falcons on that opening weekend. They've actually never won. As OpTic Texas, they've never won. OpTic Chicago and Huntsman, I think they won their opening games. But as OpTic Texas, they lost to Ravens in 22. They forfeited against the Rokkr with the SAE drama famously in 2023. They lost to New York in 24. And then last year they lost to Boston. This year they play Falcons. They've got Mercules. I don't know how concerned the OpTic fans will be. We also, though, had last night a tournament concluded. So we saw day one of the Zinni 10k. Great tournament. It was really good to see. Well, I think what was especially good is that the players that were actually on the full rosters, they made it all the way into the finals, right? So the final we got was Toronto versus Thieves with the teams for the new season. Now, JoeDeceives was looking pretty disgusting in this tournament, I'm not going to lie. I think that Toronto coy as they are for the new season, with ReeaL now on the team instead. So it's Insight, CleanX, JoeDeceives, ReeaL. They should, I think, be really good. Where to rank them is a good question in terms of OpTic, Thieves, FaZe, etc. You know, I wouldn't put Toronto any lower than 4th. Maybe you could argue about Gentlemates, but you know, we'll see what happens when the season begins. Now, look, this is Modern Warfare 3. It's not Black Ops 7, so who knows? But they were playing the Bush Gaming team, which was Prolute, TJ, Cap, and Spart. Spart rage quit here, so he didn't have his scoreboard up, which is really funny. I mean, come on, it's an off-season tournament. Who really cares? But anyway, he got out of there because they'd been 20-point clubbed on 6-star. And, you know, Prolute, credit to him, at least he stayed in the lobby at 8 and 25. Not pretty from those guys. But again, they made it pretty deep in the tournament, so it was cool to see the rosters that actually will be rosters. The Bush Gaming team will be a roster of 4 going into challenges for Black Ops 7. But that, of course, is also true for Toronto on the other side. So the finals got underway, and it was 100 Thieves versus Toronto, effectively, in the finals. Here we are on Rio. Feels kind of interesting to watch Rio get played again. But Insight found himself in a 1 versus 4. He got the first 3 kills in a matter of seconds, finds himself in a 1 versus 1 with Kenny, and manages to take out this gunfight as well. So look, we know that Insight, he does like to clutch a rounds, right? This is what he's known for, really. And it was a very impressive clutch at that. They did, however, still go on to lose the series because Methods is famously replaced by Insight right back in the Cold War season when they decided to make that change. They actually went up pretty big time on this map as a result, at least in part of this Insight clutch, but in the end it didn't quite work out. So I wanted to share both sides of this because it was a cool moment anyway, but Thieves in the end just a little bit too strong.
Go one, getting into two.
Wow, Thieves are going to converge. They're going to collapse. Ken finds two. Insight finds two. He finds three. Insight for a 1v4. Insight versus Kenny. 1v4 potential. He gets a three-piece. Insight rounds the corner. Has him weak.
JV, oh my God.
Insight 1v4. Insight 1v4.
Oh my God.
One bullet.
Oh my God, dude. No way, he's weak. On the pillar.
No way, bro.
What the fuck is Jamie doing? He was all the way back there.
Wait, he let me finish for free.
He still got a stun. It's 10 minutes later.
Paco just ran through the base and he's still the base.
That's a good stun.
Yeah, I ran through that.
Like I knew he was in there deep left, but I didn't think he wrapped all the way back to his side. I thought he like tried to pinch.
On point though. Jimmy's on
Actually,
fucking point.
we lost.
I'm going to tank now, Joe. I'm fine. I'm with you, Joe. I'm with you. It's weak.
They're hitting me tank.
Run across. Joe, you can plant bomb.
They waited too long. They're getting pinched now.
Oh, they don't. Yeah, I'm weak. I can tell. I'm one with the
You're shot my side corner.
GG. They waited way too long.
Fucking yellow.
Yeah, Dashy, I think.
Oh my
Holy
God,
fuck.
you don't understand how much I didn't want to play that second best of 5, bro.
Yeah, me neither, bro.
Good fucking shit, boys.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie.
Holy fuck. I did not
They
wanna
was
play that.
running through me.
Bro, I'm just playing with fucking Packalocks the whole day.
Fuck it though, bro.
Fuck it though.
I'll just hit DVDs, by the way. Fuck it.
GG's, boys.
DVDs.
Inside was tweaking. I'm like, yo, hello. Oh, I'm just gonna back up.
Ice.
All right,
James,
boys.
You are awful at hosting tournaments, fucker.
Why? You're an
5
asshole,
hour,
dude.
5 hour 14 tourney?
Hey, bro, we're just here for a good time, for a good cause. You fucking piece of shit.
I'm here for my $2,000 now. Give me it.
Well, there goes your prize. I'm donating that. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an absolute pleasure. I'll give you guys your trophies in
I'm not lying.
person.
I think we need a sponsorship for next tournament.
There's a trophy?
Yeah, there's like
I think we need a Rubat sponsorship for next one.
come on, bro. Come on, bro. It's GG's, boys. GG's, man.
GG's, bro.
Congratulations on the victory.
Thanks,
Yep.
man. I appreciate it.
Tourney, bro.
Yep, GG's.
Thanks, then.
GG's, man.
Thank you.
Major 4, we go in, we lose to FaZe. Literally lost the series by like 3 kills. That's the way I look at that series. It's like 1 kill every single map was the difference. And we went back and we knew they probably think we're shit. Everyone is talking like we had no chance in that series, but they're all fucking stupid. Like, we should have won that. And we knew that they were going to be so like high on that. We were going to get the same maps again at champs because they were probably just delusional. I don't know why though. Like, we should have won that. And I think that was the worst thing to happen to them is the fact that they beat us in that.
Raj, thank you for sending that, bro. Chad, that was an exclusive sneak peek at the process coming out tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. Raj, you're...
So Thieves win their first tournament as a new roster. Kenny, HyDra, aBeZy, and Scrap. Look, when it comes to throwback tournaments, when it comes to regular season, when it comes to off-season stuff, Scrappy is him, right? Like, he wins all of these. He loves it. We'll see if that can happen at the World Championship this year. But, you know, these teams, of course, this team was expected to win this event. They're playing Modern Warfare 3, a game where these guys were rather good, and Kenny was also very good at, right? So, won the World Championship on that game. If there was a question about this team, it would not be on Modern Warfare 3. If we were playing Modern Warfare 3 for another year, I think this team, you know, you could arguably consider it to be the best. For Black Ops 7, there are some questions, especially on how it's going to work with Kenny. We'll see in due course. But they got the win. They took down Toronto. They just about got over the line anyway. They didn't get forced to play a second best of 5. So good competition anyway. And the two teams that we kind of would have expected to be in the finals, they did match up there. So it was cool to see that Zinni put that together. There's also another tournament that he's putting on in a few days' time, which is great to see. This is Black Ops 7, another 10k tourney, the 17th of November, so a few days after release. There's going to be a 10k switcheroo too. So for that tournament we just saw, because it's not Black Ops 7, the CDL I don't really think has any rules when it comes to what teams you can enter. But the CDL does have rules that you can't play with your full teams in a non-official online tournament if it's not officially run by the league. That's been the rule for some time. Understandable, although it would be kind of exciting to see it. So usually what they do is 2 ARs, 2 SMGs, or SMG duo from here, SMG duo from there, whatever, and then you form the different rosters. It's going to be interesting to watch anyway. There's a lot happening. But of course, also wanted to mention this clip that I shared from the process, right? So Zinni and Roger, they kind of gave a little bit of a sneak peek here. I thought this was really cool, actually, what Karma had to say when they had that loss, and, you know, he was just fully confident that that would be the downfall of FaZe. Yeah, they were frustrated in the moment, but when it came to the World Championship, they knew that was going to give them a leg up on their competition. And, you know, let's not forget they played FaZe in that very first round, smoked them, and all of a sudden looked like a serious threat in the tournament. So I thought that just goes to show the level of winning mentality that Karma has, but excited to see the process in its full form. We know that it's going to be a 3-hour movie, and it comes out in a few hours' time. Now, to be fair, it's pretty late, right? It makes sense, actually. I think this is probably a sensible release time, but it is pretty late. It's 7 p.m. Central Time today. So if you're in the States, then that's, what, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, which if you're in the US is probably a pretty good time zone. If you're in Europe, it is cooked. Respectfully, it is cooked, because this is 1 a.m. UK time. And it's not like this is a 20-minute documentary, right? This is a 3-hour movie. So I don't imagine many of you guys in the UK and Europe are going to be watching this one tonight. You might be waiting, certainly I will, for tomorrow when there's a bit more time in the day. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting nonetheless, the timing. But I think in terms of the US audience, make it so that it's in the evening, it makes a bit of sense. But yeah, it's going to be quite the wild ride, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to seeing how much is in this, certainly when it comes to some of the stuff that happened early on in the season, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, it's been a long time, right? You know, the process was expected initially, well, not expected, but there was talk about it coming out in the middle of August, first of all. And here we are 3 months later, it's finally ready to go. So very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. We're also not far away, of course, from Black Ops 7. The race is nearly here. That's only a couple of days away. So the season really is getting back into gear at this point. So very much enjoyed your thoughts. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.